Section 0 of English Literature. Its History and its Significance for the Life of the English-Speaking World, by William J. Long, Ph.D., Heidelberg. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Tony Oliva. Preface. This book, which presents the whole splendid history of English literature from Anglo-Saxon times to the close of the Victorian Era, has three specific aims. The first is to create or to encourage in every student the desire to read the best books and to know literature itself rather than what has been written about literature. The second is to interpret literature both personally and historically. That is, to show how a great book generally reflects not only the author's life and thought, but also the spirit of the age and the ideals of the nation's history. The third aim is to show, by a study of each successive period, how our literature has steadily developed from its first simple songs and stories to its present complexity in prose and poetry. To carry out these aims, we have introduced the following features. 1. A brief, accurate summary of historical events and social conditions in each period, and a consideration of the ideals which stirred the whole nation, as in the days of Elizabeth, before they found expression in literature. 2. A study of the various literary epochs in turn, showing what each gained from the epoch preceding, and how each aided in the development of a national literature. 3. A readable biography of every important writer, showing how he lived and worked, how he met success or failure, how he influenced his age, and how his age influenced him. 4. A study and analysis of every author's best works, and of many of the books required for college entrance examinations. 5. Selections enough, especially from earlier writers, and from writers not likely to be found in the home or school library, to indicate the spirit of each author's work, and directions as to the best works to read, and where such works may be found in inexpensive editions. 6. A frank, untechnical discussion of each great writer's work as a whole, and a critical estimate of his relative place and influence in our literature. 7. A series of helps to students and teachers at the end of each chapter, including summaries, selections for reading, bibliographies, a list of suggestive questions, and a chronological table of important events in the history and literature of each period. 8. Throughout this book we have remembered Roger Ascham's suggestion, made over 3 centuries ago, and still pertinent, that "'Tis a poor way to make a child love study, by beginning with the things which he naturally dislikes." We have laid emphasis upon the delights of literature. We have treated books not as mere instruments of research, which is the danger in most of our studies, but rather as instruments of enjoyment and of inspiration. And by making our study as attractive as possible, we have sought to encourage the student to read widely for himself, to choose the best books, and to form his own judgment about what our first Anglo-Saxon writers called the things worthy to be remembered. To those who may use this book in their homes or in their classrooms, the writer ventures to offer 1 or 2 friendly suggestions out of his own experience as a teacher of young people. First, the amount of space here given to different periods and authors is not an index of the relative amount of time to be spent upon the different subjects. Thus, to tell the story of Spenser's life and ideals requires as much space as to tell the story of Tennyson, but the average class will spend its time more pleasantly and profitably with the latter poet than with the former. Second, many authors who are and ought to be included in this history need not be studied in the classroom. A textbook is not a catechism, but a storehouse in which one finds what he wants, and some good things besides. Few classes will find time
Sample complete. Ready to continue?